Hey everyone, my name is Andy and welcome to Posterology. So, I'm not a psychoanalyst, but my wife is a psychoanalyst from Mexico City, and we like to discuss the meanings behind images, especially movie posters. So, she had a pretty cool analysis of this movie poster from the 2019 South Korean film Parasite, directed by Bong Joon-ho. She doesn't speak a lot of English, but I translated her analysis for you guys. So, let me know what you think. So let's start just by looking at it. Basically, it's a wealthy family at their home with their servants or employees and also what appears to be a dead body in the foreground. So there's many different techniques that people can use to analyze images, but this one that she used is a psychoanalytic technique that divides the image into three parts. The top third will represent the conscious mind, the middle third is the preconscious mind, and the bottom third represents the unconscious mind. So this is just one of many possible interpretations. Um, so if you don't know, let me just explain those different parts of the mind. So the conscious mind is what we are aware of right now. So right now you're hearing my words, and your conscious mind is taking that in, turning that into concepts that you're understanding. Just below that is the preconscious mind, and that is what you're not conscious of at the moment, but you can become conscious of it if you make yourself aware of it. So let's just say right now, you're right this second, you probably are not thinking about the first car you ever owned. And well, now maybe you are because I mentioned it, and so this unused memory of your first car was just sitting in your preconscious mind, and now because I mentioned it, it got pulled up into your conscious mind because you're paying attention to it. So, um, our things that are sitting in our preconscious mind actually can influence our actions and behaviors even without us ever becoming conscious of them. And a big example of that would be prejudices. So, for example, let's take racism. That sits in our preconscious mind. Because if you think about it, someone could be racist. They might mistreat those people bad, discriminate against them, and they might not realize that it's because of that person's race and their own racism. They just think that it's because they don't like that person, but actually that racism is sitting in their preconscious mind, influencing their behaviors. And also, we can become aware of our own prejudices by through training, sensitivity training and things like that. So we can become aware of them. So that's why they're sitting in our preconscious mind. And then lastly, the unconscious mind. Now, this is the very deep portion that we're not able to bring into our conscious mind. That would be like deeply repressed thoughts and feelings, our instincts like fight or flight, animalistic desires, and personality complexes. So, if we divide the poster in this way, the first thing that comes to mind is that the vast majority of the action is occurring in the middle third of this poster, which is the preconscious mind. So that means when you're watching the film, then you should pay close attention to the character's preconscious motives. One of the first things I noticed about this poster is that all the characters have their eyes covered. So why? What does that mean? You've probably heard the saying that the eyes are the windows to the soul. Well, their eyes represent their identity. In this case, the identity of the characters have been removed. So we need to view this film as something of an allegory. Now, an allegory is a story in which the characters actually represent something else. And in this case, even though this is going to be a story about a wealthy family in Korea and their employees, that we should be able to apply this story to something else, maybe Korean society or global society as a whole. Another thing that's pretty interesting is that you see that some of them have white coverings and some of them have black coverings. So it's the wealthy family members have the white coverings, and the lower class, the servants, the working class have black coverings. Now we're in the preconscious mind here, So these coverings actually represent the prejudices or preconceptions that we, the viewers, have towards these different classes. So the rich people, the upper class, they get white coverings to represent perhaps positive preconceptions that we have about them. They are upstanding, productive members of society. And then black coverings for the lower class. They are unintelligent or lazy or thieves or a drain on society in some way. So their identities have been removed and they've been replaced with the positive or negative preconceptions that we, the viewers, have of them based off of their social class. And more interesting is that the wealthy people had their faces covered as well. So everyone thinks, oh, yeah, people have prejudices about the poor, but actually, people have prejudices about the wealthy too. And a lot of them are positive ones. But just because they're positive preconceptions that we have, it still is not letting them be their true selves. So it's still not a good thing. It's still limiting them to fit our preconceptions instead of being able to be who they really are. So that's the face coverings, kind of the most unique thing about the poster. But let's look at the characters in general. So, certainly the person who takes up the most physical space in the poster is this older man here on the right. He's dressed in dark colors. He has a very aggressive or menacing stance. He's looking straight at us, the viewer, almost like he's threatening us. And then in the back, there's a young man in his 20s. It's kind of unclear what he's doing or feeling. Is he scared? Is he angry? Is he relaxed? Honestly, I think he's probably a bit unsure of himself. He doesn't really know what to do. And he's halfway inside, halfway outside. Horizontally, he's perfectly in the middle of the poster. So he's got things on his left, things on his right. He's in the back. So the composition of the poster makes it so that it's almost like we're zooming in on this person in the back, like asking him, "What are you going to do?" In many ways, he's the principal figure of the poster. Also, he holds a large stone, but it's unclear if he's going to use this as a weapon or some kind of tool of action, if he's going to do something with it, or if he's just holding on to it. It's weighing him down, holding him back. We really don't know what he's doing right now. And then the third main figure of the poster is the boy on the left. And it's not actually the boy, it's the reflection of the boy. The boy is not physically present in the poster. He's a ghost. So to me, he looks completely forlorn, like he's asking for help, but he's invisible to everyone in the poster. He's forgotten. And so these three figures, they all have the same stance. They're all looking directly forward at the viewer of the poster. So these three figures, even though they're three different characters in the film, here they actually represent the same person at three different stages in their life. So, like I said before, the film is kind of allegorical. It's not just about these people, it's about society as a whole. So, in this case, these characters represent the same person in childhood, youth, and adulthood. And that can be any person, but it seems particularly focused on the youth. The young man is in the present, so he's in the doorway. He's halfway inside, halfway outside. And then the boy, who is just a reflection inside the house, he's gone now. He's kind of ethereal. He's in the past. And then the old man, outside, kind of closer to us, he is in the future. So it's kind of like in Dickens, how we have the ghost of Christmas past, the ghost of Christmas present, and the ghost of Christmas future. The poster is saying to us, the viewers, this is who you were, a little boy whose needs were ignored and you didn't have any guidance. This is who you are, a disillusioned young man unsure of what to do with your life right now. And then this is who you will be, an angry, dangerous man. But just like in Dickens, there is the implication that we can change our future. So our present self is still halfway inside the doorway. He's on the threshold. What he does next could determine the rest of his life. Okay, and then the two minor figures in the poster are this wealthy couple. They're simply relaxing together, totally isolated from what's happening. It's almost like you could draw a bubble around them. And they're just lying back, enjoying their wine. So if the three male figures are the same person, this couple is that person's parents, the viewer's parents, our parents. So they're not really present. The father is even sleeping. He's totally absent. And then the mother, yes, she is looking forward at us, but if you notice, her reflection looks away. She's only giving the appearance of being there for us, but in reality, she's ignoring us. She's willfully blind of what's going on with us. We have to resolve our issues alone. Okay, and then so those are the five main characters in this poster, but we also have this dead body in the front. So what's going on with this body? Okay, so remember how we divided the poster into the conscious, the preconscious, and the unconscious? Well, everything that we've discussed so far has taken place within the preconscious. The dead body is actually deeper. It's within the unconscious portion of the poster. And here there's only two colors. There's white and green. Green represents life, like the green plants here. And then the white dead body, well, that represents death, of course. So we have life and death, which it represents everyone's unconscious mind. In our unconscious, we all have eros, or life energy, and thanatos, or death energy. We have pulsions of life and pulsions of death. We want to create and we want to destroy. We want to reproduce and we want to kill. So, at their deepest core, our actions are based on one of these two pulsions, the desire to create or the desire to destroy. And it's very interesting here that the older man actually has his feet down in the unconscious mind, and then his head is up in the conscious mind. So he's actually serving as a bridge for his unconscious desires to flow up and become conscious actions. So that could tell us that this older man may be unable to repress some of his darker pulsions that are located down in his unconscious mind. And actually, if you notice, the younger man also crosses from the preconscious to the conscious. So we may be able to expect to see some of his preconscious thoughts spill out into his conscious actions. He may have some problems repressing some of his preconscious thoughts, but it's nothing as serious as this older man. If you've got someone who can't repress their darkest desires in their unconscious, well, that's really dangerous. So then we've got the conscious mind at the top. So the conscious mind, this is kind of interesting. It's literally blocked by the facade of the house. It's opaque. We can't see what's behind it. It's just a big gray surface. This actually represents the deception and shallowness of the conscious mind. So in the poster, the conscious mind is literally depicted as just a front. Like everyone's just putting on a front in their conscious mind. It's the front of the house. It's a facade, a literal facade of the house. So you can't really trust what's going on in the surface. You have to look deeper to really understand this film. Just a couple last little interesting touches. The TP that we see with the boy. The teepee actually represents the vulnerability of the boy. He's not depicted as living in this fancy house with the parents. He has just this little teepee to keep him safe. It represents his primitive psychological defense mechanisms that he had to develop to protect himself from the world. So it kind of looks like he's just out there in the wilderness and he just constructed himself this little teepee to get by. And lastly, we've got this inflated ball in the center of the poster. The inflated ball actually represents the interactive nature of family, familial love, and fun. So typically, we don't play with a ball like this alone. We hit it around and kick it with other people. Family is, by its nature, an interactive dynamic. Ideally, we should love each other, support each other, help each other, make each other's lives better, have a good time. I mean, that's what family is all about. So the family love is present in the image. The parents do love their children. But here, this love is totally encapsulated. The ball has vibrant red and blue hues, but these colors don't radiate out and permeate the image. They are completely contained in the center. It's almost like everyone's afraid to touch it. Like they're saying, I love you, but I don't know how to show it. I'm afraid to hug you. I'm afraid of your emotions. I'm afraid of my emotions. So the ball just kind of lingers in the middle of the image, and no one really knows what to do with it. So that's it, guys. Just kind of like takeaway is that when watching the film, we should pay close attention to the pre-conscious motivations of the characters rather than their actual actions. We can put ourselves in the position of the young man and possibly view the little boy as our past self, and then the older man as our future self, and the wealthy couple as our own parents. Now, I'm not saying that we should watch this entire movie and every scene of it in this way. I'm just saying keep the concept in the back of your mind as you view the film, and some interesting topics may arise when you're doing that. All right, everyone, thanks for watching, and don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel for more movie poster analysis, and feel free to leave us movie suggestions in the comments for our next video. See you next time. Hey everyone, my name is Andy and welcome to Posterology. So, I'm not a psychoanalyst, but my wife is a psychoanalyst from Mexico City, and we like to